with Gina.
The news with Gina Grad.
Well, former Empire star Jussie Smollett is suing the city of Chicago for what he argues was the police department's effort to push a false claim that he masterminded a fake attack on himself last January. Smollett, who
let this one go,
still insists he was attacked by, if only we knew someone related to the case, still insists he was attacked by a white male, claims brothers Abel and Ola Usundairo are spinning a tale that he put them up to staging the attack and doesn't know if they had any involvement at all. Smollett's lawsuit lists the city, the brothers, and the police superintendent as defendants. Meanwhile, the city of Chicago is still suing Smollett to recoup the cost of their investigation.
Oh, man. Where does I don't know where the guy goes from there. Look, here's the thing about actors, or the way at least I feel about actors. It's sort of it's the same way I feel about Matt Lauer. Like, hey, if we don't really need you, keep it together. You know what I mean? Like
don't jeopardize.
Well, we need Larry David and we need JeffGarlan. Like, we need Larry David doesn't get wished into the cornfield with my parents because he creates things that we want. If you're just an actor or you just read the teleprompter, Billy Bush, evidently we don't need you. Like, you can just go away and never come back, and that works that way. I mean, there are about 3 or 4 actors we can't do that with, but most actors on Fox shows we can do it.
Picturing when you were going through that. So let's say Jussie Smollett comes in for Curb. Okay, right. He comes in to audition for Curb, and I know Larry. Larry's like oblivious to stuff.
Sure.
And then he does an okay job. He leaves, and I turn to Larry David and go, "That's the guy who made up the thing in Chicago about being attacked." And they go, "Oh, really?" And then boom, he never works again. Every time that guy goes into a room, when he leaves the room or before he gets in the room, someone's talking about it. It's over. So I think he's just grabbing at straws here because he's being sued.
Now, there's only work, there is work for British reality shows like Has Been Island or something. You know what I mean? I've been contacted a few times.
Hold on a second here. Again, a great idea. Following Adam Carolla Warlock, Has Been Island. And all it is every episode, 2 has-beens have to wrestle.
That's right.
Oh, that's good.
But really
Gladiator
wrestle.
style.
And if you don't win your wrestling match, you get put on a bad part of the island where it rains and stuff.
Right.
You don't get off the island.
The windward side.
Yeah.
And most of the population, and we also have a separate population of the island, which is like an island chain, and these are just former Menudo members, like folks in their 50s that were in the boy band Menudo in the 70s.
And all they have to eat is corn. I just decided that.
You do recall I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here?
Yes,
they did. They have done Has Been Island.
Because you're right. Jussie Smollett. It's basically, it's essentially like the girl in college who did a bootleg porn or something, and it got all over the internet. And it's like every time that girl walks into a party or a classroom or job, like it's always going to be, it's that person.
That's exactly right.
And how could it not be?
How long till he does porn?
Ooh. It's a good point.
Gay porn, though, right?
And
Cody.com.
even if he's awesome in the audition, someone will go, it's too big a distraction.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's going to take away from the authenticity.
No. Even if he's awesome, he's not getting the job.
Right.
Done.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, speaking of porn, maybe he wants to get in on this. This Thanksgiving porn site Cam Soda wants families to let online voyeurs watch them eat. The adult entertainment website is offering to pay up to $250 to anyone willing to live stream their dinner. The competition, called Cam Soda Voyeur Thanksgiving, has no rules. You just have to be over 18. Cam Soda writes in a press release, and this is so sad. Those who are lonely this holiday can now live stream dinner time and enjoy the company of others from afar with the click of a button. The most popular dinner broadcasters will receive an additional prize. Remember, this is your holiday family Thanksgiving. The prize is free tokens to use the porn site, Camp Soda.
Oh, fun.
I don't know. I got into a discussion. I got into an argument with Dave Damashek about whether ham could or should be present during a Thanksgiving dinner.
Supplementally.
He was vehemently against it.
Wait, in place of turkey
Yeah,
or
not-
alongside?
No, just to be there with.
Yeah, that's the wrong.
To share the table.
Totally fine.
I told him we couldn't figure out whether it was acceptable or not. So I told him pull up a Norman Rockwell painting of Thanksgiving and we can find out what's on the table. Like
The American
what
dinner table.
I
traditionally
feel like
is on.
ham is part of the meal.
Yeah, sadly, Norman did not draw in the ham.
Maybe
but he
it's
did
Jewish.
have a covered chafing dish, and I made a very strong case as to why there's ham
Yep,
in that
that's
dish.
right.
Even
Gotta
though you
keep the
couldn't
ham
tell.
warm.
That's right.
That's so Goyish, a ham with the little cloves and the pineapples on it.
Yes.
I didn't grow up that way.
Yes.
Are you Jewish?
Yeah.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, look at me.
you. Yeah.
Did you grow up with a ham covered with pineapples? I
No, I
certainly
did
didn't.
not.
Yeah.
No.
We had ham
But
on that.
nonetheless, I was never anti-ham.
Yeah.
I got to
Never
tell
had
you, man,
Thanksgivings.
I don't know why it just popped in my head, and I don't want you to fall off the wagon, Jeff, but a pineapple upside-down cake is fucking fantastic.
With the little cherries inside.
Because it's more pie than it is cake, and that's the beauty of it. And it gets a little crunchy,
Oh,
and you
jeez.
get some fresh whipped cream on there.
By the way,
Why don't you just ascribe a perfect martini to an alcoholic?
I know.
here's the
Sorry,
thing.
Jeff.
No. Here's the thing. Don't feel bad for me, anyone who's listening. Anyone in this room. I have
Nobody
had more
does.
pineapple upside down cake than any 10 people you know put together.
Really?
Including the upside down family who invented pineapple upside down
Wow,
cake.
you've
Yeah.
done more than the Dole family?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dawson, quick survey around here. Survey of 10 employees. How many pineapple upside down cakes consumed over under?
In lifetime?
Yeah.
Full cake?
Four. Seems a little light.
We're talking about pieces of cake, right?
I don't know.
That's what I was just
unknowable.
thinking.
Look,
Hey, Max Bada, find some pineapple upside down cake humor from the 70s shows, would you please? All right. I still want a souffle with the door slamming.
What was
Yes.
what was the cake that everyone kept passing around? The fruit cake. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I've never had that.
That was
That, by
That
the
was
way,
another
I have
trope.
never eaten, as somebody's addicted to sugar, I've never even tasted fruitcake just based on its reputation.
pretty
Yeah,
bad.
it doesn't have like gummies
Yeah.
and nuts. I've seen it. Is that like the
I've done
Italian?
it.
It's a novelty.
The panettone.
Well,
or-
it's the kind of thing that can survive a long period of time without going bad.
Yeah.
Because you're shipping it.
Right.
There's a whole process.
There's
Doesn't look good.
It's in cans. It's a can. Fruitcake comes in cans. So there you go.
yeah, there is a kind of
Not a tin, a can.
It is your fentanyl to the heroin that is real dessert. You know,
Yeah,
I've
yes.
gone to fruitcake not because I wanted to, just because I needed a fix and I was desperate.
I've
and
eaten Pop-Tarts out of the garbage. But they
Hold on.
still
Your garbage?
my own. I
Okay,
threw them
that
away.
helps.
Don't be a
And
one-upper,
it-
like I said before.
And it still had the silver wrapping over it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the foil,
So
yeah.
it was sealed, but it was in the garbage.
That's
I
a
was
George
like,
Costanza
no more.
move.
By the way, guess what? That's where they got it from.
wow.
What?
Yeah, that's where they got it from. I'm watching Seinfeld when I'm like, oh my God. And the episode was written by guys who I work with now on Curb and have.
Oh, my God.
Who had seen my one-man show where I talked about that.
This is the real Henry's Tacos right here.
I've had 2 jokes stolen from me my whole career. This, that, talking about that. And also, I'm always one to say Baron von this, Baron von that. You know, that was like, this is a long time ago. And, Dan Castellaneta showed me a script of, that he was about to record of The Simpsons. And, Bart says, they say, no, so I would say Baron von Costume, a very common one. And Bart said, Bart, how are you going to get away with going to the other side of town? He goes, you just leave that to me and the Baron. And it said Baron von Costume.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and it was like, and I talked to both writers. I wasn't mad. By the way, if you're going to get stolen from, Seinfeld and The Simpsons
Yeah.
is pretty good. And I wasn't mad. And they said, can we still do it? And I'm like, yeah.
yeah,
That's awesome.
It's the ultimate tip of a cap.
Yeah.
Tip of a cap,
I got no
imitation.
problem with it. And, you always if you're funny, you come up with new stuff.
Yeah,
It's not like I was relying on Pop-Tarts in the garbage or Baron von Costume.
There goes the career.
Yeah.
All right, Gina, what else?
Well, Oprah Winfrey is calling on her pals, Lady Gaga and Jennifer Lopez, to boost her upcoming wellness tour. Oprah's 2020 Vision, Your Life in Focus, will feature one-on-one interviews with Gaga, J-Lo, Michelle Obama, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. But also there'll be all-day events. There'll be seminars. There'll be dance sessions with your very own Julianne Hough. Interactive demonstrations. That's going to kick off in Orlando in January.
There's a weird thing. And I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. I mean, I just did it with JeffGarlan, but it's weird. There's a lot of middle-aged men and women and beyond, like sitting around and having these conversations about life and well-being and sort
wellness,
of wellness, like I've
self-care.
heard like Oprah will sit down with Michelle Obama and they'll just have a long talk about like self-care and self-whatever. And I don't feel like it's a conversation our parents ever had. Like mine's like, hand me another cigarette and get out of the way. You're blocking the TV. Like there wasn't any like, how do we make things better? How do we live a better life? How do we be our best selves? Like,
see, I think the whole thing, well, look, there's aspects of where people are trying to not die. You know, and I think that's the most ridiculous part because it is whatever it is. And so, but to have a quality of life, that's, anyone can keep learning that stuff. So if it makes you function through the world better, but if drinking a shitty milkshake every day extends your life a week, give me a fucking break. I'm not drinking that shitty milkshake. Yeah. Although I do love milkshakes, but not a shitty milkshake.
Agreed. Yeah. And I don't know if the people that are watching are like being inspired by Oprah or they're just kind of wanting to be Oprah. Yeah. I think the part is that they're going, I want to be Oprah. And they're here to hear Oprah, but then they, you know, you go to the ballet, you come home, doesn't mean you can dance. It just means you watched somebody do something pretty well. I watch Olympic sports. I'm no good at archery just because I've watched a guy do it, or you pick gymnasts or whatever it is. I feel like there's an element of they're watching it, and it kind of quells them a little bit. Like, okay, I don't know, I'm feel a little better, and then they go home, but I'm not sure that they do it.
Yeah, that's a good point. And sort of to that point, it reminds me that before TED Talks were really like just explosion popular, everybody knows what a TED Talk is. Right before that, I was kind of like, you know, just really into them because I didn't hear about them a lot. I went to the bookstore and I wanted to know if there was a collection of TED Talk speakers. Guess what? Couldn't find one of those, but found 20 versions of how do you become someone who does a TED Talk.
Right.
So it's that same sort of principle.
And by the way, lots of people have read those books and do the TED Talks, which are no longer interesting.
Right. Well
TED
said.
Talks have gone down the drain. Oh, my God.
How many people at Oprah, she got to be the number one ask person where her batting average is through the roof, right? Like, if Oprah says, can you join her on stage in, Orlando or whatever, everyone says yes, right?
Well, here's my thing. That goes back to what I'm saying about ego. You have to recognize ego. You have to recognize what's your motivation for doing it. And I would think a lot of the people say yes to her based on ego. Now, if there's a giant check involved, that would be a good motivating factor. But I got to say, I'm not going to Orlando no matter who calls me. I'm not even going to do stand-up in Orlando. I played Orlando once, and a group of neo-Nazis were in the audience. I ain't going back to Orlando. I'll go back to Disney World, but hold on. I've got Disneyland. I am not going to Orlando. I'll go to Tokyo Disneyland before I go to Orlando. Orlando can blow me.
All right. I should have picked Portland because I was randomly picking a city.
She is kicking off in
Portland.
Orlando.
I like Powell's book, so I'll always go to Portland.
All right. Well, when she makes her way to Portland and she hits up Jeff, I think Jeff answers the call.
No, but actually, I like napping. I'm not going to Portland for Oprah. By the way, I was on Oprah's show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
I was on Oprah's show. One of her producers used to hang out at Zany's in Chicago, and they came up with this.
What year, I'm sorry, is this?
This is sometime in the 80s. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's in the 80s.
So you weren't household namey.
No, God, no. And so this producer said, we're doing an April Fool's Day episode. And what the April Fool's Day thing was they had people send in their jokes. It was a joke a minute. That was her premise for the thing. So they wanted some professional comedians. So I did it, and I ended up sitting next to Oprah. I had 2 requests, I swear. I said, okay, I'll do it. I go, you don't have a serious big star or anything. I go, well, then I want the main dressing room, and I want it filled with bagels and donuts. Wow. I swear. And I said, what do you mean by filled? I go, a couple tables worth. and I said, and they said, we're going to put you up in the first segment. That's our most watched segment. And I go, done. I'm in. So.
I saw...
And she was very nice.
I saw JeffGarlan.
We made out during the commercial break.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Jimmy and I saw you at Caroline's in New York. Would have been circa like 1997 or so. Maybe it's a couple years later. I think you were with Jon Stewart.
Yeah,
I don't know
John,
if you were opening.
No, I would have been opening for him because when he did Unleavened, I directed it. I co-directed
his stand-up special.
His stand-up special. And so we performed all over the country. I'd open for him, and then I'd go sit in the back and take notes.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was so funny. I mean, I think we went in to see John. We didn't know you were opening. I don't know if it was advertised that way or not.
No, it wouldn't have been because it would have no meaning.
But I did all those years ago going, what year was Unleavened then? Or what year did you
it was sometime in the, I'll tell you when it was, 94.
Was it that early?
No,
it couldn't be that early.
No, 95. It was 95.
Wow, because
95. Because my son was an infant, and I took him with me on some of the stuff. My older son, and he was born. No, my mistake. 97. No, because he was born in 96. In my head, I had him 94. He was born in 96, so it would have been 1997.
I told you got to use your kids to mark the time.
That's the only way.
That's the only way to do it.
Only way.
Calendars.
So it was
use.
in fact 1997.
Must have been Jimmy and I out there. Because you shot it in 97. This could have been in 96.
It was 96, 97 around
We're
there.
out there for the MTV Music Awards with Kevin and Bean and went to Caroline's on a date to go see John. And there was JeffGarlan.
Oh, that's funny. Small world.
Yeah.
So Julia Roberts
probably having trouble with my stand-up. I didn't know what I was doing.
I remember you did a bit about Snicker bars, I think.
Oh,
for some
fun
reason.
size.
Probably.
Fun size. What's so fun about them? You got to put 4, 5, or 6 in a row. Then it's a fun size. That might have been my only good joke. And that's the one you remember. The only good one. All right, keep going.
See, what this warlock does is he focuses on this comic set being half full,
That's
not
right.
half empty.
Yes.
So Julia Roberts may have almost been cast in the lead role of the Harriet Tubman biopic, according to Entertainment Weekly. This story is really getting some press today. Harriet Tubman escaped slavery before the Civil War and helped dozens more reach freedom through the Underground Railroad. And a Hollywood studio executive suggested Julia Roberts would be the perfect actress for that role. And when the film screenwriter said that Julia Roberts couldn't play Harriet Tubman, the exec reportedly said, the Civil War was a long time ago. No one's going to know the difference.
Wow.
Harriet was released earlier this month. It stars English actress Cynthia Erivo, but
who's Chinese, by the way.
What? Scared me.
Cynthia Erivo was the one that I liked so much in Bad Times at El Royale, the singer.
Oh, right. Yeah, she was great. Smollett was up for Mr. Tubman. You didn't really hear a lot about him.
Harriet Tubman.
I believe the first part of that story, and I think the second part of the story is either made up or that executive was joking.
Yeah, because I was going to say
it's just a little too much.
That story is dominating headlines today.
Yeah, because people because they need stories.
Right.
And but I do get the guy not knowing who Harriet Tubman is and having not read the script. Even though he says it's a great script, maybe we can get Julia Roberts.
An iconic American's got to be Julia Roberts.
But also, Julia Roberts was huge, and of course he'd be covered even if it was a crappy script if it's Julia Roberts. But to say the Civil War was a long time ago, that's either a joke or the writer came up with it.
There's probably a part in there that they didn't report where the guy's like, Tubman. Yeah, okay. Julia Roberts could play a Jew.
By the way, he may have thought she was Jewish.
Well, could have been.
So after serving less than 2 weeks in prison, Felicity Huffman wants to help other women behind bars.
Jesus Christ, her life's been changed.
It gets better. Sources tell Page Six that the actress was so moved by the harsh conditions during her stint at the Federal Correction Institution in Dublin. That's the one that's known as, what do they call it? Not Club Fed, but one of them.
The people that take up these causes, are they really philanthropists, or they have kind of an open schedule? Because I don't feel like I could start following a pod of whale or something to the Antarctic or something. I could drop everything and, hey, there's a brother in prison and I'm not working until this guy walks the streets again. Like, I'm too busy to jump into things.
But wait a minute, she's in a cushy prison, though.
She
right?
was in the Spa Dublin or whatever they called it.
I also have to imagine that Felicity Huffman has more of an open schedule now. She may have been going on some auditions before, maybe a Hallmark movie here or there.
Not just that, but this might have this smacks of a bit of community service. So she served 11 days.
She's being forced to have a cause.
That's right. And she began her community service last month and is expected to finish in early 2020. But the star reportedly wants to continue to work with the Teen Project and women's incarceration re-entry organizations long after that, she says.
And these gals, there's her and Full House, right?
Lori Loughlin.
Lori Loughlin. They're getting into the Jussie Smollett area, right? Of like casting them and kind of going, this is too big a distraction.
She copped to everything.
Yes.
And it went already smooth. Lori Loughlin is like fighting it. She's holding out. She's going to like end up in prison for a much longer time.
Now they're saying
not even a cush prison.
She's going the Jussie Smollett route all the way down.
Yeah,
the drain.
The reports, and I mean, we don't report on this every little day because I know it drives you insane. But that she was dying to just go the Felicity Huffman route, and her husband talked her out of it, and she's freaking out. She just wants this to be over, and they say she's looking at maybe 2 to 3 years. As opposed to 11 days.
Yeah, she could never do that. But I just mean, talk about tense in the household.
The kids hate her.
I remember one time I came home early and I slammed the door and Lynette was making a souffle, and that was a tough weekend.
Yeah. You were in the doghouse.
That alone.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine not copping a
hold
plea.
Hold on now. Interstitials between Adam Carolla is a warlock and Has-Been Island, interstitials of you entering homes and ruining souffles.
Yeah.
All right? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Great.
And it's always different. I come in and I go, and they go, watch it with the door. And I go, no problem. I just came back from yodeling class. And they go, no!
I'm programming my own network. You're in.
All right, what else we got, Gina Grad?
Well, I know this sounds like a Mad Lib, but I promise it's a real news story. The legacy of Wu Tang Clan is expected to live on in ways well beyond just their catalog, and that includes a real live amusement park. A Wu Tang themed amusement park is currently being developed in Seoul, South Korea. The news was revealed by Jimmy Kang, the vice president of Wu Tang Clan management. While other details of the amusement park, most of them are very scarce, an area dedicated to Staten Island is possible. The hip-hop group's hometown.
Just what Seoul, South Korea needs.
Not only named a district after Wu-Tang, but also honored them with their very own day that happens to be November 9th. And this is coming to Seoul, South Korea.
There's the whole Dennis Rodman sort of Korean aspect.
North
here.
Korea.
That's North Korea.
That's North, right. But maybe there's a love of large black men,
Just on the island.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. They're making a Wu-Tang movie or TV show or
like
something.
A Hulu series.
They're
doing a
redoing
series.
Barnaby Jones with Wu-Tang Clan.
With Wu-Tang?
Yeah.
Buddy Epson's out?
Yeah.
Barnaby Jones.
Now that I've never seen of no recollection.
They used to. They had a weird thing with Private Eyes where they had like old Private Eye, fat Private Eye, Cannon, Ironside, unlikely
like Kojak,
Private Eye,
Kojak,
bald Private Eye.
That's like
All disabilities.
Columbo, Lazy Eye.
The first guy. Yeah, the guy got his ass kicked first. In Kung Fu, is the first guy to call Carradine Chinaman. He's the first guy to get his ass kicked. And the first guy that called Barnaby Jones Pops was the first guy to get his ass kicked. That's a Jay Leno joke, I think.
Is he an older gentleman?
Barnaby Jones was an old guy.
He was definitely well into his 70s Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, he was
Good for
completely
him.
gray. But this is, Buddy Ebsen, Judd Clampett.
Yeah.
He'd been around for years.
Like the Western star, Buddy Ebsen?
Western.
Didn't he do a bunch of Westerns?
No, he did. He was his Beverly Hillbillies.
Oh, okay.
Everybody did Westerns back then. But yeah,
Buddy was the original Tin Man.
And was he really
In The Wizard of Oz.
75, or were we just 11 and thought everyone with gray hair was 75?
No. Well, if he wasn't 75, he looked 75.
Barnaby
even. Well, by the way, I'm not exaggerating. On the set, Larry and I, one day this year, we watched on YouTube. They have the openings to every Barnaby Jones episode with the actors, and they say their names. And we watched it, and I looked at Buddy Ebsen, and as a 57-year-old man, he looked in his 70s.
Okay, well, maybe
I'd like to play him someday in a comedy, a comedic Barnaby Jones.
one more part Jussie Smollett's not going to get. Barnaby Jones.
The case of the souffle that shrunk.
I watched the opening to Robert Urick's Vegas the other night just to see the same thing. By the way, just to see the Vegas Strip circa 1978, like
all the
it's
downtown
crazy.
stuff, right?
Yeah, you forget about. God, I'm trying to think of the one it's just a big paddle boat, the Orleans or whatever, like a big southern paddle boat, gambling boat, riverboat, like just sitting right on the strip, like
Treasure Island.
Yeah, there was no winds back then.
What happened? Look at you with the water. Thank you, my friend. I have a quick question.
Yes.
Next year, January 25th, I have no plans. Where are you going to be?
I'll probably be here. I don't know
January
what day that's.
25th.
I'll be in town.
Chicago.
Oh.
He's setting you up, man.
Oh, sorry, you're setting me up. Jeez, I didn't look. Park West, Chicago. Thank
You're actually playing Park West on January 25th.
Doing Unprepared, which I just did last night at the SiriusXM studio building. They're now getting into video and streaming and all that kind of stuff. And you would like this, Jeff. We do what you do, but a slightly different version of it. Everyone writes one word on a ping-pong ball. They put it in a hopper, a bingo hopper. I have a volunteer come up from the audience. They turn it, and whatever the ball says on it, that's the bit they get. And
you make it up.
Make it up. Yes.
Or whatever it reminds you
Or
of.
whatever it reminds me of.
Wow, that's really great.
It's kind of fun because
That's really great.
It
It
makes it sort of official. And I do the first half of the show, it's just half hour straight stand up, and then the second 40 minutes we do the hopper, and it's fun, and people like their ball or whatever they have fun with it. But
so
Jeff,
would you mind if I took that idea to South Korea?
Go ahead, go to Loser Island with It's fun. Max Zapata was there last night. We had a good time with it.
No, but that's really fun. That's good.
It's fun. It's fun until you run into one single word that is a stumper. And one day we should find those.
By the way, you want me to give you advice how to do it? All right. Give me a word and a stump. Just give me a word and I'll pretend it's a stumper.
Belgium.
Man, I got nothing. I got Belgium. Why would you hand me Belgium? And then you start attacking whoever handed you the ball.
Oh, that's good.
You start attacking anyone here from Belgium. I don't want to hear Belgium. You dive into nothing.
Right.
Dive into nothing. There's nothing for Belgium. I got nothing. I go, you maybe chocolate, but they're not even that known for chocolate.
No.
Wooden shoes. I don't even know what goes on in Belgium. I fucking hate Belgium. Get Belgium out of the... Man.
I know. I got
and
Belgium.
And then you turn
once.
to all the people who work with you and go, if any one of you fuckers ever mentions Belgium around me again, that's over. All right, now give me a new ball.
Yeah.
Boom! You're out!
Yeah, but
and
what
you
if
dealt with it and you got laughs.
But what if you need to do that 11 times?
Guess what?
What?
It'll only get funnier.
Okay. Well, now we're covered, Max Zapata.
It'll only get funnier 11 times. So give me another one.
I'm trying to think, Max, do you remember some of the ones that were tough?
Last night, you got Mandalorian.
Okay. Mandalorian. Let me tell you
not
something.
going around
I know what it is.
He has no idea.
Yeah.
No. So then you say, Mandalorian. Let me tell you something. Somebody did this as a mean practical joke. Put Mandalorian. You know my history with the Mandalorian.
Oh,
Do I need to get into it?
Yeah.
Do I need to? And then you turn to your people. So help me. If you mention Mandalorian around me, I'm going to Belgium. And you know how much I hate Belgium. I would never go to Belgium, and yet Mandalorian makes me go. Point being is, you can do it with any word.
He's very good.
Last night I got rulers.
Oh, rulers!
Manicure. I know that's your Niagara Falls.
No, by the way, someone writes rulers. They're basically going, fuck you, Adam Carolla.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Well,
yeah, try and come up with this
That's
one.
what they're doing. They're going, challenge me.
And then you go, so rulers. You go,
Right.
All right, rulers, really? Do you people know that I spent 11 years in a prison and the only thing I could do for fun was measure things? Do you have any idea what it was like? So then you turn, so help me.
Tell my people.
If you people ever bring up a ruler again, I will hit you with my Mandalorian. And you know how much I fucking hate men. See, I'm saying you can make a bit out of it.
That's good.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm not as good
Copy
as you.
me.
You play by the rules
No,
too much.
Copy me. I just gave you a format.
All right. I will employ it. Sorry. Go ahead, Gina.
Buddy Epson, born in 1908.
Wow.
And the show Barnaby Jones ran from 73 to 80. So he was in his late 60s and early 70s during the show.
Good night, ladies and germs.
Mattel wants to make sure that this holiday game season is politics free, and they're really going for it. Now the traditionally primary colored card game Uno has been recast without red or blue cards, which have traditionally represented the colors of Republican and Democratic parties. Their classic red packaging is now purple, and the two missing cards that were red and blue are now purple and orange. There's also a new veto card, which can be used to skip the next player's turn if they bring up politics
Did
during
they
the game.
intentionally make them red and?
I don't think
that was
it's
just
a primary color.
Red and blue have been used for years.
Yeah.
When you're a kid, would you ever pick up red or blue and go, oh, Republican, Democrat?
No.
I don't
What
want these
state are you
cards.
from?
I didn't look
You
at
know?
an elephant or a donkey
By the
either
way,
and have any
Adam,
thoughts.
Take a look at your insignia. Right there.
Oh,
What do you
wow.
got?
Oh, it's red and blue.
Yeah.
They can exist
Both.
together.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you are not playing Uno, are you, sir?
No, I'm
I've never played Uno, so I don't even care.
Imagine they're doing this just to get a little publicity.
press before the holidays.
Of course.
All right, any souffle clips, Max Zapata, whatsoever?
All right.
Found one
All
from
right.
the Partridge Family.
Found one from
Oh,
the Partridge.
perfect.
Good eating. Here we go. I love that it's from the Partridge Family. It goes right with your premise.
Come on. No way. Now leave me alone.
All right, what's going on?
All I wanted her to do is to show me how she flipped Goose, and she got all upset.
Goose was
Doesn't
her
just want to
boyfriend.
know. He's just making fun of me. No, honest, Lawyer, I really want to know. I mean, someday when you're not around, I may have to defend myself.
No, do you mind if I show him? Why not, if that's what he wants?
You really want to know, huh? Come on.
Just kinda- She threw him in the kitchen on his back.
I like that island.
Really rough, low, and crude.
What happened?
He got flipped. Judo style.
Not only that, but you caved in my homework.
Souffle. It dropped.
Funny. Have I ever caved in your homework? No. Boy, when something is important to you.
So when I was a
Souffle
little
is
boy,
homework.
I was my first crush, a celebrity crush. Not that I've even had more than one. Susan Day. I was madly in
I
love.
thought you were going to say the souffle.
Well, the souffle.
I love
bit-
Susan Day.
Susan Day.
I loved her.
Oh, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
Lori Partridge.
Lori Partridge.
So
wow.
hot.
So hot. Oh
And
my
any
God.
of those scenes,
I
she'd
might have
be
been
sitting
like.
on her bed with her dollies up there.
I think I was 9 years old,
Yeah.
just gazing at her, like waiting for her to come back on screen. Couldn't believe how she existed.
Yeah, she had something about her teeth and her chin were so inviting. I don't.
Oh,
she's a beauty.
Come on, that's just a big bowl of wrong.
She's so beautiful.
That's a very
gorgeous.
Ally McGraw picture.
I loved her.
Alan McGraw was beautiful too.
Yeah.
And then Buddy Epson was my next TV crush. Yeah, I loved her. Well, it was easy. All you had to do is pick your favorite Charlie's Angel or Susan Day or Marsha Brady. Like there's a handful of
Yeah.
women
Ginger.
available. Ginger.
Marianne, Jeannie, Bewitched.
Oh, yeah.
It was crowded back then.
Ellie Clampett.
Yeah, Ellie Mae.
Ellie Mae.
Yeah.
Right.
That was
So
a good one.
As adult men now, Shirley Jones or Florence Henderson?
Oh, dear God, why would you do that?
Because
I don't
they're
like to
both
sexualize
good-looking,
them.
blonde women.
I didn't find. First off, Shirley Jones is eliminated because my mother, even though she didn't, she would say this. I swear to God, I heard her say it at least a dozen times. People say I look like Shirley Jones. She looked nothing like Shirley Jones, but she would say that all the time. She looked nothing like Shirley Jones, and she had red hair, and Shirley Jones was a blonde. So I'm eliminating that, and then no, Mrs. Brady, no. Oh dear God! Well, if you go by that picture, you'd have to say Shirley Jones, but nonetheless,
I like Shirley Jones because she was an active mom and housewife. Like, she was always doing some space work. Like, she would enter with gardening gloves and I'm out of potting soil, and I kind of trying to picture that at my house.
You like someone who works with their hands.
I like someone who's like moving. She was always like dusting, cleaning.
I like a woman who comes in and goes, I just woke up.
Yeah. Florence Henderson farmed a lot of shit out to Alice.
She did.
Right? But Shirley Jones was hands-on, and she was always like fixing a wicker chair or something. She always had activities.
Can I say something?
Yes.
This is another show for my new network. You're going to get your own night.
Wow.
Basically, to go from, quote, the man show, okay, to what you're describing is the way women should be described, is the way you're respecting the woman's work.
I am.
Look at you, Adam Carolla. The woman's work. So how does the evening start? Adam Carolla, Warlock.
Yep.
Then we go to Has-Been Island. Right. You've got your souffle interstitials, and then an hour of Adam Carolla talking about and meeting real women and saying how much he appreciates them. And then the last 15 minutes in a closed-off room, you make love to them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't need to get Dixon involved with this.
No.
Sign me up.
Dixon.
Does Dixon represent you?
Babydoll, yeah.
Does he really?
Yeah,
oh, God, I've known him so. No wonder you were at Jon Stewart's thing in New York.
It must have been.
No, because Dixon was his agent.
Except for, I don't think me and Jimmy were hooked up with Dixon at that point.
At that point? Oh, that's funny.
We knew John through K-Rock. The way I hooked up with Daniel Kellison is me and Jimmy were at the K-Rock Weenie Roast in Irvine in like 97 or something, or 8. And Daniel came with John, and I saw John, or we knew John from, coming into Kevin and Bean or whatever it was. But it's a small little world.
I love Dixon, by the way. Love him. I've had a long relationship with that dude and never worked with him, but I love Dixon.
He's the best, and he's the best now because he's the last person who smokes in public and has no regard for what other people think about his cigarette or his smoke, and has had situations where, like, he's been in hotel rooms smoking, and someone's from the desk is banging on the door going, we've gotten reports of smoke and smelling, and they're trying to make their way in, and they have the universal card, and Dixon is pushing the door yelling, you can't come in, I'm naked with a cigarette hanging out of their mouth, and the person's going, I smell cigarette smoke, it's a $500 cleaning fee, and Dixon screaming, I'm not going to pay it. I was just with him at the History Channel, whatever, Sunset Gower, wherever the buildings are with all the whatever. And he goes out after the meeting, and he's sitting in the area, with the bench and the tree and the whatever. And of course he's smoking, and the security guard is walking toward him, and he doesn't care. And he's showing me pictures of his house in Florida on his phone. And then the security guy's making us, hey, he's like telling him we got to put the cigarette out. And baby's like, yeah, baby, I got you. And he gets up and moves 20 feet over. And then the same security, he's still smoking. The same guard is now walking at us again. And I'm a bundle of nerves because I'm like, he's going to tell us the same adult male who told us moments ago to put the cigarette out is now circled back, and he's coming a second time. And Dixon has no interest or no thoughts about it. I have a million thoughts about it because I'm watching him, and Dixon's showing me pictures of his 10,000 square foot home in Jupiter, Florida. Hey, baby, that's the indoor. We got indoor, outdoor. And he's like showing me the whole thing. And I see this. He's like walking in slow motion at me, the guard, because I'm like again, I think of myself as Pete Sampras with Down syndrome, not a warlock. If I was a warlock, I'd just take my cane and fire a lightning bolt at him. But he's walking. Dixon doesn't care. I love that person who doesn't care. Now, you may say, sounds like an asshole. Maybe you're right, but he doesn't care.
He's more of a sociopath.
He had no thoughts about
All right, I'm sorry to interrupt.
anyone walking at him.
Your night, which I think is Thursdays, late night. Adam Carolla / loves assholes.
Yes.
And every week,
Safe harbor.
somebody who doesn't care what people think is just going to do what they do.
Yes.
And by the way, you know what's fascinating? The innocent security guard, you as a warlock, the innocent security guard approaching,
Yes.
you're zapping him with a lightning bolt, as opposed to taking Dixon and making him forget cigarettes even exist. You have that power as a warlock, saving his life. But no, you're destroying the life of an innocent security guard with a lightning bolt.
This guy's got a family.
Is he laying on the
making
ground
minimum
dead?
wage.
What happened?
You're
All
right.
because of a cigarette. Adam Carolla, use your warlock powers for good, except for the hour of Adam Carolla embraces assholes.
I should have done with Dixon's lungs what Tabitha did with that ice bucket.
Yeah.
Just perpetually made it full of smoke. All right. Did we bring it home, Gina Grad?
We'll do it right now. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
You're adorable. Look at you fucker.
Gina. That was the news with Gina.